Right, afternoon guys. So like I did last week with the Spitfires, I've got all the Hurricanes off. Quite an outrageous amount here, as you can see. So shelves are stripped, cleaned, dusted, aircraft are cleaned, the occasional brakes. It's always handy to have a bit of glue handy if you end up smashing one or two of them like I usually do. So I've tried to put them into some sort of order. So you've got all the Battle of Britain ones together, all the Sea Hurricanes, all the later Mark ones, all the Desert Air Force. Obviously there's a few that don't really sort of fit into any scale. But let's go through them one by one. So the first line, all the way up to YBJ, is all the new mould ones, bar the Crete one, which is there. I don't know if you can see that one. That's the other new mould one. So let's talk them through. So the first one we've got is GNA, or as it's known as Gina, which drives me absolutely crazy. Really nice. The new mould's really, really good. I mean, the issue is the join at the tail, but I think the new mould compared to the old mould, actually it might be worth doing. If I take a new mould one there, which the undercarriage has just fallen promptly off, and we'll get YBW. Just put them together. So there you go. There's one side by side. Difference in the prop, you get a bit more prop droop on the old style one. The new one's obviously got a different prop hub as well, which is much more accurate to a Mark 1. But that's not to say that the old mould is crap, because it certainly isn't. It's really, really nice still, but there's some real crackers, and YBW is one of those that's a Model Zone exclusive. I'll get to that in a minute, and put that back. So yeah, got all the Battle of Britain ones all lined up. So you've got GNA, the undercarriage is falling off, and you've got DZR, which is, I believe, was that the first? I think it might have been the very first one that was released. The name of the pilot escapes me. And you've got SDX and SDF, so one of them being Ginger Laces, of course, which was an absolute bargain. It was when the 60th anniversary Corgi release. I think it was like 25 quid or something stupid like that. Then you've got the 303 Squadron pair, so you've got RFA, which is the standard release, and RF3, which is one that I made myself in terms of changing the codes on it to make it, and hopefully we'll get a trio now. Hopefully RFR will be released as part of the new catalogue. More of that a little bit later. Then you've got YBJ and YBW together, which is obviously the Battle of Britain Memorial Fight one. This is the old style mould, and it was released as part of a Model Zone exclusive. There's another one next to it which I'll explain in a minute, but YBJ is a brand new one which was released very similar in timescales to GNA. So had two come out pretty quickly together. And then we've got another YBW, and this is part of it's like a toy range, a Corgi sort of flight toy range, but not an awful lot of difference really. I think that's the wartime one, and that's the BBMF version. I think that's the only real difference. That you can prise the undercarriage out from underneath that as well if you've got a spare pair of undercarriage. Then of course Bob Foster's UPW, and this is probably one of the top old style mould ones. But if you can see, I don't know if you can see that little gap between the prop. Hold up. Oh, James is on. Start over. I ain't starting over. You have to go to the back, the front of it. I'll save it on here. Don't worry, mate. Yeah. So UPW is Bob Foster's. It's a really hard one to find, but it's the old prop droop, as you can see with the older style one. It's marginal, but it's still a pain in the arse. Then you've got JXB, which is an IXO release, which is curious. They've got a better propeller than the Corgi one, which makes no sense. It's actually quite a nice mould, but the only issue with the IXO is the drawn-on panel lines, which are way too heavy. But the overall shape of the thing is pretty damn good, to be fair, and you could pick these up for about £5. And then you've got JXT, which is the 1 Squadron B. It's got the B motive on the front there, and this is quite a hard one to find as well. Yeah, absolutely, yeah. Really, really nice looking aircraft. But if you look at the brown on it, is quite garish compared to the other release. Seems a touch brighter, but no, a really, really nice model nonetheless. Then again, another one, the Corgi toy range, VKG, doesn't come with the mast, as you can see. I think it's got a solid underneath. So it hasn't. Look, so you can actually gouge out the undercarriage, if you've got a spare pair of undercarriage to put it on. Of course, obviously putting on a aerial isn't the biggest thing. You know, it's not a massive issue if you've got a little bit of time on that. Right, on to the second row. Probably my favourite old mould, I guess, and that's the Battle of France 2-blade black and white underneath one. Beautiful looking aircraft. No, VKG is one of the Warbirds one. I'll get to that in a minute. The Warbirds ones are both together. You've got DTA and you've got the Biggin Hill one, GZL, which are next, funny enough. That's a Corgi toy range, VKG. They released a Spitfire, Messerschmitt, Mustang, Lancaster and Hurricane, I think it was. It's in like a yellow box. But again, it's not the most regular one. But yeah, no, the Battle of France one. This is stunning. Only one they've ever done with a 2-blade prop, so be interesting to see if they're going to rock out the 2-blade prop on the new mould. Really, really nice. There should be more Battle of France aircraft. It's quite a crucial part of the war, and Cobber Canes would be a nice one to do, I guess. Then you've got, as James is talking about, the Warbirds range. This is also a black and white winged one. The pilot escapes me. It's a really famous pilot. Help me out here, James. DTA, who is it? But I've got two of his aircraft, got a further one down the line as well. Then you've got ALK, which is the one with the red prop. I did have another one of these with the prop hub. That's it, Stanford Tuck. That's it, RST, Stanford Tuck. So this is his earlier one with the black and white underneath, and you've got the later one in a minute. You've got ALK, which is this come with like a book. That's it, England, and it come with like operating manual in the box. Then you've got USC. This was a Battle Britain Memorial Flight aircraft, representing an aircraft out of North Weald, which is just up the road from me. But it was in the Battle of Britain Memorial Flight set with a Lancaster and Spitfire. Then you've got one of HAC, so the Historic Aircraft Collection Hurricane. This is part of the Merlins over Malta set. Then the second aircraft from the Warbirds range, and that's GZL. And this represents an aircraft which is currently flying at the Biggin Hill Heritage Hangar over in Kent, just over the water from me. Then you've got James's favourite and the Canadian fighter ace, William McKnight. Again, a black and white. Well, it's not black and white, it's black and eggshell underneath. Really beautiful looking aircraft, and arguably one of the better releases from the earlier moulds. Next to that, of course, the legless wonder himself, Douglas Barda. This, and again, if you compare the brown on the two of them, really garish on this one. This one here, I will turn upside down in a sec, was part of the Legends range. There's one of two Hurricanes in the Legends range. The further one's further down the line, which I'll show you in a minute. It's a desert one. Really, really nice model, and of course, obviously, a real iconic pilot. So we're going to turn over William McKnight's one. Turn over my Willie. There you go. So you've got it's like a duck egg finish rather than a white on this one. But it's stunning. Really, really beautiful aircraft, representing the aircraft out of Debden, I think it was at the time. Really, really nice. Then we've got another one of the Flight Range YB. This was going to be code markers YBY, which is an aircraft that crashed near the shop that I manage currently now. I still haven't had a chance to do it with everything all over the place. Then behind it, we've got another HAC. This is part of the Merlins over Malta set, the Legends range version. Then we've got an operational training unit aircraft from Oxford it's got a yellow underneath to signify it's a training aircraft in 1940 from Sutton Bridge. Quite nice. Again, it's different as well, and it stands out. Then you've got VYQ. This is an aircraft that was based out of Biggin Hill at the time. Sorry, North Weald as well at the time. Again, the pilot escapes me who it is, but it's quite a famous one. And then behind it, of course, you've got Stanford Tuck's DTA, the later version in the war, and you can see, obviously, lots of kill marks on it already, where it was rather successful. So, right, onto the third one. So that's all the Battle of Britain Hurricanes done. Now we're into Sea Hurricanes. So this one here is a Code 3 made by the legend. It's actually the Coast of the Malta Hurricanes. Just HAC was the historic aircraft collection, though. That's what it was. It was just a good coincidence. But yeah, it just seems to just fit nicely. I guess that was probably the theory behind it. Yes, this one's a Code 3, done by Dave Hunt, who's done a few sea fires for me. Really, really nice job. Got the colours absolutely spot on. Then we've got the Shuttleworth's, the only flying naval Hurricane. There's quite a few now. Another one's just joined the British Register as well, with Dan up at Sywell, the ex-Australian one. And this is a beautiful aircraft, the Shuttleworth Hurricane, restored at Duxford in the 90s and obviously sent to Shuttleworth. Then behind that, Greg's joined. Hello, Greg. Behind that, we have the HMS Narana Corgi Mark II Hurricane with the black and white stripes. And then and next to that, very similar scheme, but not quite executed as well, is the Forces of Valour one. What they were playing at with that cowling, I have no idea. Grey and grey rather than grey and green, but it's all right. It's not from a distance. Okay, I put it at the back of the shelf, but it sits in nice with the naval Hurricanes. Then behind that, you've got the Cork Navy Hurricane, which again, colours are absolutely spot on. Really, really nice looking release. And then next to that, very, very similar, is the Oxford release as well. Different serial, but pretty much the same sort of working scheme. No codes on the side, just a plain scheme with just a serial on the back. And behind that, we've got another Code 3. This is one I bought off eBay many moons ago. It's an Operation Torch US Naval Hawk Hurricane. Then next to that, we've got the Whalen Mark II Battle of Britain Memorial Flight Hurricane. Again, I guess this is probably my favourite later Mark Hurricane. Really, really nice aircraft. At the time, I got very up close and personal to this when the Canadian Lancaster come into Southend Airport. I got up close, and the pilot at the time shared the same surname. We had a chat. We weren't related, but it was my way of just trying to see if I can get in the cockpit. Unfortunately, I didn't, but I got up nice and close to it and got some pictures in the cockpit. But really, really nice aircraft. And then next to that, you've got the Singapore-based Hurricane. Again, really, really different type of schemes. Got the filter on the front as well, but a nice alternative. Then next to that, you've got a Forces of Valour one. I'm not quite sure what the colour they were thinking when they put the colours on this, but clearly wasn't quite what they were planning to do. But it's all right again, it adds to that theme. And then next to that, we've got an easy model Hawk Hurricane, resplendent in in its green and grey. Really, really nice looking scheme. Battle of Britain Memorial Flight War one, very similar to this many moons ago. But again, I'd like to see Corgi do a Mark 14 Spitfire in this sort of colour scheme. They did again. The Battle of Britain Memorial Flight had one like that many moons ago as well, which is really nice. And then at the end, I've got a pair, a Corgi and an Amacom one, representing the aircraft which are sent to Murmansk in Russia as part of the convoy support. Pretty plain scheme in it, to be honest with you, but no, right. Again, it covers a different area as well. Would be nice to see. I've got a Russian Hurricane actually somewhere, so I'm going to turn around. I don't know if you can see it in here. It's right at the back there. Got a Russian Hurricane as well, an easy model one on my Russian shelf. So that one hasn't come out yet for cleaning because it's in a completely different location. But again, covers a completely different theatre of war where the Hurricane was quite used. Right, so on to night fighters. So we've got this one here. We've got the Night Reaper JXE. Really, really nice looking aircraft. Is it Kushaka, I think his name was, the Polish pilot. I've got another Night Reaper which I started to go through and the bloody serials went missing in the post, which are playing out. So we've got LKA, which is again, I believe that's Ian Gleed. But there's an Oxford one just been released. This one is a Forces of Valour one with the later Mark cannons, which looks really nice. Then as a Code 3, which I made myself, which is in the same marks, also check. Yeah, you're right, that's it. ZYV, which is obviously the colours of the current Battle of Britain Memorial Flight Hurricane, but in red. Then you've got the other Night Fighter, which is just a plain E, and then behind that 2 Code 3s that I bought, TDV and VYM, representing a very similar aircraft at the same squadron, which was based at North Weald. Then next to that, got a Forces of Valour later Mark Hurricane. Again, the shape's a bit wrong, but it covers a different area. And then FTA, which seemed to take me forever to buy the bloody thing, but it was the last Hurricane to join the collection. Then we've got an easy model one, LK, and then the question mark. Again, very plain looking scheme, but fits apart. Then XPG, very similar to the 2-seat Hurricane that's flying at the moment, but no cannons on it. And then JXJ, one of the other, I believe this is a Corgi Collector Club one, and relatively hard to find. Then you've got the standard D-Day one, which just looks so wrong in my eyes, but it needed to join the collection. And of course, if anything looks even more wrong, you've got the Hitler or the Flying Eagle Hawk Hurricane, the captured one, which has, I believe, a yellow underneath. I don't know if you can see that. There you go. But again, covers a different fitter. Now we were speaking about the Legends ones earlier. This one is the Tank Buster, the only one of its kind with the 2 cannon mounted under it, the Tank Busting cannon one under its wings. Again, the only one Corgi have ever done like this. But then I don't know if they use this in the theatre. I think they only used it in the Desert Theatre and not in the Southeast Asian Command one. Then behind that, we've got the aircraft which was restored by the Fighter Collection JVZ. And this one is an easy model version, so again, very plain. It does have, the rivets and stuff on, but they're just not that detailed. Then we've got the early part of the Desert War Egyptian-based R. Really nice squadron motive on the side there. I believe the same squadron, I can't remember the name of the squadron, were one of the first to use Hawker Hurricanes, and they were deployed to France as well. So I'd love to see an early squadron Hurricane with the serial on under the wing. Very similar to the early Mark Spitfire with the 2-blade, where it had the silver underneath and the serial underneath. That looks really cool. And then we've got the Corgi Tank Busting Hurricane as well, which... I was talking about it, only this one being the only tank buster, of course, that Corgi one is as well. It's got the tank busting cannons underneath, but the wrong nose should be a red nose on it. I've got another one with a red nose, which is in my loose box of aircraft. Then we've got 2 Oxford ones that Atlas ones that come as part of different releases in the Atlas range. Again, very plain looking aircraft. Then the new mould Hawk Hurricane representing the aircraft that creep with the Italian style wing root and engine cowling on to sort of make it look like a Falgore or a Machi. Again, really, really nice. It's plain, but it's really, really cool. A nice looking release. And we've got the Malta-based Hurricane. Bit of a nothing release, this, if I to be honest with you. It's a bit sort of meh, but it is what it is, isn't it? And then probably the beautiful looking release is this blue Model Zone exclusive one, which is really, really nice. Really, really cool looking aircraft. Now that J's a Malta-based one, James. This isn't a Crete one. That one's the Crete one. That one there, that's the Crete-based aircraft. That one was a Malta-based aircraft, believe it or not. But it's just really bland. There's nothing about it that makes you go, hmm. And yeah, onto this one. This is probably one of my favourite looking Hurricanes in the PR blue with the tail exposed. Really, really nice. And it was an exclusive Model Zone release. Not the easiest to find now. Then we've got a Corgi Collector Club. The last really, really, really nice looking scheme with the gold prop. And finally, I do have the one that I've been a menu to put cereals on, but they got lost in the post. I've just never bothered. And that is it. There you go. There's the Hawk Hurricane collection, all cleaned, all ready to go back on, and all fall apart as I put them back on. The Model Zone one, yeah, is absolutely stunning, beautiful, really, really cool looking scheme. Really, really cool looking scheme. But be interesting to see. So one of the things I'm going to be doing over the weekend is hopefully catching up with Christian, hopefully Dan, Garry. I don't know if James is free or Matt are free to jump on as well, because you can have 4 people on Instagram now when you're doing Instagram Live. I'm going to do a bit of a talk through about the potential releases on the new Corgi catalogue, which is probably just over a month away now. For those who've not been paying attention, Corgi have been doing like an advent calendar thing on a daily basis, and they are looking at sort of giving us a few snippets. I do not know any releases before anybody asks me. I can make some assumptions, but I'll talk about it on the video. I know Christian sent me a few that he'd like to see: Australian Canberra, and Australian Canberra. Yeah, something I hopefully will be doing towards the end of the week. Yeah, I did see that, James. Yeah, the wiggly lines, I think, is the mess, isn't it? They didn't quite know what to do with it. There's so many different pictures of that Wellington. There's a picture with it having halfway down the fuselage wiggly lines. There's a picture of it with having straight lines, and there's a picture of it with having wiggly lines. And I think they've gone with whatever they just got. But look, I think it's still going to look nice regardless. It's not as big a muck up as the new Corgi Vulcan. Where's the Beaufighter? It's coming soon, Jason. It's coming soon, I've been told. There's quite a few. So basically, from what I'm hearing, is that just like Hobby Master, all the Corgi stuff is turning up in one big shipment to save money. So the problem you're going to have is you're going to put pre-orders in, and then you're going to end up losing 400 quid out of your bank account because they'll bloody turn up at the same time. Beaufort is January. And if you have a look at the new Corgi Diecast diaries that Michael and the team at Corgi have done, there's some really nice looking pictures of the Beaufort. Really cool looking release, but they've got to get it right. And of course, you've got to remember the world isn't quite normal at the moment, so it's only a model, isn't it? That's the reality of it all. So yeah, but I'll put it up on the page in terms of when we're going to do it. I need to tie up with Christian. Hopefully Saturday night is the time that we're looking at getting planned. I've got myself a new light, a new blogging light to do. So like I said, hopefully the lads can jump on, or we can rotate who is on the video at the same time. But it should be interesting, you know. I think there's quite a lot of potential in this new catalogue. I think the big issue, as always, will be getting them from factory to in a boat or on a boat over to here. You know, everybody seems to be struggling with it. If only they brought the production back to the UK, and then we wouldn't have this issue. Oh, actually, no, they probably would, because they'd have no lorry drivers to move it around. So, yeah, look, I hope you're all staying safe in this new Omicron virus, or whatever the fuck it is. Whatever it was last week, I think I could have potentially had COVID. I tested positive on a home test, yet 2 PCRs I didn't. So, God knows. Look, fingers crossed that we'll get through this and Christmas can go ahead as relatively normal. But like I said, the plan is we'll try and get this Corgi catalogue 22 preview up. And of course, when it's released, I'll do a detailed talk through of each and every line. And that's about it from me. Look, I'm going to go in and make myself a bit of lunch because I'm absolutely Hank Marvin. But yeah, look, thanks for tuning in, guys. I'll save this and share it on the page as always. But yeah,